1019 KACQ.
I'm Casey Chapman here with your local Lampasas area news. Yesterday was a much busier day for LPD. In the early morning hours, officers started responding to a report of a suspicious person in the 600 block of East 3rd and were set out on a criminal mischief call in the 600 block of North Porter just before sunrise. A report of a burglary of a building came in from the 100 block of Omnis, and a second criminal mischief was reported that took place in the 200 block of Brown. Dispatchers had them respond to a suspicious activity in the 800 block of North Key, and officers were sent out to cool off a disturbance reported in the 1600 block of East Avenue G. A theft was reported in the 900 block of East 3rd, and all of those calls were before lunch. It stayed quiet up until late afternoon when 2 harassment calls came in, both of them from the 1400 block of South Chestnut, within a couple of hours of each other. Officers checked out a suspicious person in the 300 block of East 2nd just before midnight. A 42-year-old Lampasas woman was arrested in the 1800 block of East FM 580 for a DWI. The county booked in 29-year-old Georgetown man on a probation violation and a 44-year-old man from Cove on a failure to appear charge. Other than a couple of medical calls, Lomita stayed quiet. Kempner worked a couple of civil matters, settled a disturbance. County deputies responded to a suicidal call, worked a few civil matters, cooled down a disturbance, and were sent out to check on a suspicious person. Stick around for more Lampasas local area news, and Daryl Brooks talking about Lampasas Badgers' big win last night in the first playoff game against Uvalde.
Ran into an old friend the other day, lives in a town about 40 miles from here. Hadn't seen him in a long time, glad to renew the acquaintance. After talking old times for a while, I asked him why he was in town. Said he came here every so often, mostly to go to Hoffpower's Ranch and Supply to pick up feed or renew his feed contract. Store inside's pretty good too, he says. Get your blue jeans or a pair of boots if you need them. Better selection of clothes and ranch stuff too than you can find around here anywhere. Hoffpower's Ranch and Supply in Lampasas.
KACQ 1019.
The city's brush chipping crews are wrapping up work on the southwest section of the city this week, west of Key Avenue and south of 1st Street. Next week, they'll move to the southeast section of the city, east of Key and south of 1st Street. A new 900-room resort has opened in Round Rock, north of Austin, amid the pandemic.
The Kalahari Resort opened for business in Round Rock in Williamson County, complete with an indoor theme park and the nation's largest indoor water park. Kalahari Resort General Manager Tim Arnold tells KXAN with the coronavirus, they're operating at a reduced capacity.
It's the number one priority that we keep families safe. We also require all guests to wear masks throughout the entire resort.
Arnold says no more than 500 will be allowed in the water park at a time. He boasts with 1.5 million square feet, they have plenty of room for safe social distancing. In Austin, Eric Lycum, TSN News.
There are high hopes for the coronavirus vaccine made by Pfizer, but people who have gotten the shot says there can be side effects.
While the vaccine is reportedly 90% effective, those who have received the 2 shots say it's no fun. The side effects feel like the flu or a bad hangover. UT San Antonio biology professor Carl Close says that's normal.
You're provoking your immune system is what you're doing. You're kind of giving it a punch so that it will react accordingly.
He says this should be part of the messaging when the vaccine is rolled out. And while he agrees that feeling ill for a few days is no fun, it's better than dying of COVID. Michael Board, TSN News.
For your COVID-19 update, as of yesterday, there was over 138,000 estimated active cases of the virus in Texas. That's up 1,000 from yesterday, and the number of fatalities is just over 19,000. Over 838,000 Texans have recovered from the virus so far, and that number is up 12,000 since the previous day. Around the region, Bell County is steady at 7,088. Coryell County up 7 with 2,118. Burnett added 4 with 1,168. Mills holding at 109. San Saba revised their numbers down 1 with 260, and Hamilton jumped up 5 with 245 total cases. The number of total cases also includes those who have recovered, and keep in mind the number of spikes could be a result of increased testing and or late reporting. Here locally, as of last night, Lampasas County was showing 36 active cases. That's a 14-case jump from Wednesday. You'll have a slight chance of showers between midnight tonight and 3 a.m. Mostly cloudy skies with your temperatures bottoming out at 63, and you'll get in some light and variable winds from the south between 10 to 15 miles per hour. Your winds could gust as high as 20. It'll start out cloudy for you tomorrow, then gradually become a mostly sunny day with your temperatures reaching 82. A clear night with temps falling to 54. And it'll be a sunny Sunday with a high near 67, clear night skies, and a low of 41. In sports, around the district, Burnett ended their season last night, losing to Bourne 38-7. Canyon Lake and Lavernia play tonight, as well as Austin's LBJ in Pleasanton. The Lomita Hornets head to the playoffs tonight. They'll take on Leakey at 8. That'll be in Fredericksburg. Lomita goes in as the second number team. San Saba gets ready for the first round of the playoffs tonight as well, and the Dillos will be up against Forzen. The Badgers destroyed Uvalde Coyotes last night in the bi-district playoff, winning 61-14. Except for a 7-7 tie in the first quarter, the Badgers were pretty much able to toy with the Coyotes for the next 3 quarters. Up next for the Badgers is the area playoff games, and they'll be playing either Corpus Christi Miller or La Furia. That will be determined tonight when those two teams meet up in course. That will be determined tonight when those two teams meet up in Corpus. Now here's Daryl Brooks talking about the Badgers' win last night against Uvalde.
Last night, the Lampasas Badgers won their bi-district round of the state playoffs, defeating Uvalde 61-14. It was a total dominating performance by both sides of the ball as Lampasas scored on offense, defense, and special teams. Cade White got things started early as he took the opening kickoff 69 yards for an early touchdown to give them the 7-0 lead. Uvalde showed some fight as they scored on their first drive to tie it up at 7. Lampasas then marched down the field, capped it off with a touchdown to Michael Murray for 16 yards and never looked back after that. Cade White had a big night on defense as well, as he also had an interception. Lampasas forced 3 turnovers, including that interception, and 2 fumbles. They also had a safety late in the game. There's a way they capped it off. They were up 59-7 at the time. Was able to block a punt, went out of the back of the end zone to make the safety 61-7, and then Uvalde was able to get a late touchdown. Lampasas did most of their scoring in the first half as they were up 49-7 at the half, then scored another touchdown early to take a 57-7 lead. But after that, they pretty much played their backups and then played a lot of their third stringers as well, as you can kind of see it in the offense, as Lampasas basically had 320 yards of total offense in the first half, only racked up another 81 yards the rest of the game. But by that time, it didn't matter, as it was already pretty well put that game away. The defense was another one that really played strong for Lampasas, as they allowed some yardage on those first 2 drives, but after that they shut them down in the second and third quarter for a net of 0 yards. 0 yards in the second and third quarter. Fourth quarter, when they started throwing in some of their backups, they were able to. Uvalde was able to get some drives going. Ended up with 70 yards in the fourth quarter, for a total of 150 yards on the night. But overall, it was a dominating performance by both teams. Ace Whitehead was 14 of 15 for 201 yards on the night, 3 touchdowns. Then you also had Michael Murray had 55 yards and a touchdown receiving. Ethan Marino, and I talked about it, he was ready for a breakout game. He had one. He had 7 carries, 110 yards, and a touchdown. His biggest night of the season by far. They also got another sophomore involved, as they were able to get Carter Johnson. He ended up on the night with 1 touchdown on 2 catches and 43 yards. That's his first touchdown of the season. And that's exciting as they go forward. They got a little banged up at receiver right now, so they need him to step up. Lane Havlin wasn't able to go as he had an injury. Expect to see him back next week. But it was a big game for Lampasas. They come up with a big win again. That was 61-14 over Uvalde Coyotes. In other action, Bernie and Burnett. In other District 13 action, Bernie defeated Burnett last night 38-7, so Burnett's season will come to an end. Bernie will advance on. In other District 13 action, you've got LBJ. They'll be playing Pleasanton tonight at Pleasanton. Then you've got Lavernia and Canyon Lake. They'll be playing as well. That to me is an interesting game to watch. Canyon Lake, they're coming in with a 5-5 overall record.
but they have really, in the last few games, they have really played well. They had some injuries. They started off hot, had some injuries, then they started to get those pieces back, and you could see it when they played Lampasas like 2 or 3 weeks ago. They took them to a 40. Lampasas defeated them, but it's 40-34, and that game was in doubt the entire game. And since then, they took out Burnett, and then now they're taking Lavernia. Lavernia is a strong team, but it's going to be interesting because a lot of people struggle trying to stop that slot T offense, and Canyon Lake runs it pretty well. So with that, that's going to wrap it up for this week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you to our viewers. We will see you again on Monday. I'm Casey Chapman here with your local Lampasas area news.
1019 KACQ.